Let's move in here and let's get started. And we'll get started with step 1 of adding the new method to our DAO interface. Here's our student DAO interface, and let's go ahead and add this new method called findById, returns a student, and we pass in the integer ID. And that's the basic coding here for this new method. Now we'll move ahead to step 2 and we'll add a new method to the DAO implementation. Let me expand my window here for a second. And let's go ahead and allow the IDE to implement the method for us. findById. And so now down here at the bottom, we have this stub for the method. Looks pretty good. And we'll make use of that method on the entity manager. We'll say entity manager.find. We give the actual entity class, student.class, comma, the primary key, the ID that's passed in. So again, student.class is the entity class, and then we have the actual primary key. And then finally, in step 3, we'll update the main application to use this new DAO method. Down here in our command line runner, we will comment out the call to this create multiple students. And then we'll call this method read student. We'll use the IDE here to create that method for us, a stub for that method. And before I write the code here, let me write some comments to myself just to keep myself on track. We'll start off by creating a student object. We'll save the student. We'll display the ID of that student. We'll retrieve the student based on the ID, and then also display the student. Creating a student, very simple, right? We simply create a new student for Daffy Duck. We save the student using the code that we've created before, student.dao.save temp student. And then we'll display the ID of the saved student. I'll create a variable here, the ID of temp student.getID. I'll display it. Just do a print line retrieving the student with the given ID. And then I make that call, studentdao.findById, and I pass in the ID. So we're really executing our new code here that we just created. And then we simply print out my student. And that's the basic coding there for reading it. So we kind of create a student first, we save them, then we retrieve them and display them. Kind of going full circle here. Now let's go ahead and run this application and test it out. And success. So here at the bottom, it says creating a new student, saved the ID of 4, and it prints out that student that it retrieved, Daffy Duck. And I always like to verify this in the database, moving over to MySQL Workbench, and then just do a query on that student table. And success. So we see that Daffy Duck here is in the list of students for this given database. So this is great. I'm happy. So good job, my friend.